In 1931, the British Air Ministry released specification F-730. It was a request for a modern fighter that was required to have a flying speed of 250 miles per hour or 400 kilometers per hour. Designer R.J. Mitchell submitted the Supermarine Type 224 in hopes to fill the request. The 224 was a monoplane design with an open cockpit, bulky gull-style wings, and had a 600 horsepower Rolls-Royce Goshawk engine. The Type 224 made its debut flight in 1934. However, it wouldn't be so easy for Mitchell. Of the 7 designs submitted to specification F-730, the Gloucester Gladiator biplane was accepted into service. This came as a big disappointment to R.J. Mitchell and his design team. But regardless, they pushed forward and went back to the drawing board. What they came up with next would be known as the Type 300. The Type 300 came with retractable landing gear and a shortened wingspan. It was then submitted as a rebuttal to the Type 224, but again, R.J. Mitchell and his team were rejected. This didn't stop R.J. and his team, who then made changes to the Type 300, incorporating an enclosed cockpit, an oxygen system, smaller and thinner wings, and came equipped with the newly developed PV-12 engine, later named the Merlin. They would finally see some success with the Type 300, when on December 1st, 1934, the British Air Ministry issued a contract to Mitchell for £10,000 in order to construct a Type 300. There was still another roadblock for Mitchell and his team. In April 1935, the Spitfire's initial armament of 2 Vickers 303 machine guns had to be upgraded to 4 Browning M1919s. The change didn't seem so bad. However, the Spitfire's outer wing section was too small to enclose the new armament, so small blister fairings were added to accommodate the added machine guns. It was also during this period that the Merlin's coolant system would change from the subpar evaporative cooling system to instead opt for a ducted radiator, which would add a small amount of jet thrust to the Spitfire. After these adjustments, on March 5, 1936, the prototype given RAF marking K5054 took its first flight. The flight lasted 8 minutes and wasn't flawless. The landing gear was never retracted during the flight. It wouldn't be until March 10th, 5 days later, that the landing gear would be tested. It was found during this flight that the test pilot Captain Joseph Summers would realize that the Spitfire was a very capable aircraft, but it was imperfect. The rudder was very sensitive and the top speed during level flight was only 330 miles per hour or 528 kilometers per hour. This was only slightly faster than the new Merlin-powered Hawker Hurricane. After equipping the Spitfire with a newly shaped 2-bladed wooden propeller, the Spitfire was able to reach a new top speed of 348 miles per hour or 557 kilometers per hour. After this adjustment, Summers flew the Spitfire to RAF Martlesham Heath and handed the aircraft over to Squadron Leader Anderson of the Aeroplane and Armament Experimental Establishment. Here, Anderson would fly the aircraft and give a report to the Air Ministry upon landing. His report came back positive. 1 week later, on June 3, 1936, the Air Ministry placed an order of 310 Spitfires. After the British public first saw the Spitfire at the RAF Hendon display on June 27, 1936, the Spitfire was supposed to enter full-scale production. However, this wouldn't be the case. Numerous problems in production could not have been overcome quickly. Vickers were already tied up in the production of Wellington bombers, and Supermarine was a small company producing flying boats. The initial promise given by the director of Vickers was that the 310 Spitfires ordered would be delivered in 15 months. This promise would not bear fruit. It wasn't until mid-1938 when the first production Spitfire rolled off the Woolston assembly line. As a result of many delays, the Air Ministry put forward a plan that would end the Spitfire's production after the initial 310 were delivered, and instead Supermarine would build Bristol Beaufighters. However, the management of Supermarine and Vickers were able to convince the Air Ministry that the production problems could be overcome quickly. As a result, a further 200 Spitfires were ordered on March 24, 1938. After all the trials and tribulations of development, the last Spitfire would roll off the assembly line in February 1948. A total of 20,531 Spitfires of all types were built. The Spitfire would arguably become the most iconic fighter plane of World War II. Only 54 Spitfires are in airworthy condition today, with many other examples being displayed in museums. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell icon to be informed when I release new videos.